Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to all who joined us. My name is Sharon Bacalash. I'm an eye surgeon by trade who throughout my career in corporate America has been involved with drug delivery in multiple capacities. First, in evaluating external new technologies to enrich the pipeline of strategic companies like Alcon and then Novartis, and later on supporting both clinical development and business development efforts of small companies in that space. Today, I head a consulting company. We work with startups in the various stages of development to offer a one-stop shop solution: clinical development, business development, manufacturing, and regulatory consulting services. We also work with established companies to enrich, diversify, and optimize their product portfolio. I'm happy to debate drug delivery technologies in ophthalmology today, achievements and challenges with you. So the next generation of advanced drug delivery technologies is already here and has been for a while. Stepping up from the second generation of smart drug delivery technologies to a third generation is characterized by tackling both physiochemical and biological barriers, opening the door to more targeted and controlled release profiles. The ability to upload a growing array of APIs and overcoming size, polarity, charge, and hydrophobicity brings a great potential for both lifecycle management for existing products as well as approaching new targets. So let's start with the good news. Ophthalmic drug delivery is doing great. On this slide, you can see data provided by Piper Sandler analyzing differences between the drug delivery ecosystem and novel API companies, where we see a growing trend since 2015 to date. Starting from the far left side, IPO size of drug delivery companies as compared with novel drugs has been growing steadily, both in the number of deals and in aggregate size. With regards to pre-money valuations, while those has been high for novel drugs, there hasn't been any IPO done since 2018. Drug delivery, on the other hand, has been growing steadily, with 2020 being a record year for that to date. Mean pre-money valuation for drug delivery companies in those 5 years was averaged around $183 million, while it averaged around $439 million for novel drug IPOs. 3 out of 8 drug delivery companies which were IPO'd in the last 5 years targeted wet AMD. And the rest are aimed at large markets like dry eye, myopia, and postoperative pain. All 5 novel drug companies, on the other hand, targeted posterior segment. Most of them focus on gene therapy for rare disease indications. The situation is a little different with private financing. Starting from the far left again, the averages and aggregate round sizes with drug delivery companies are only a fraction of the size of novel drug financing. We do still see a steady growth in average pre-money valuations, even more in drug delivery than with novel drugs. Also anticipated is the fact that total aggregated finance amounts that goes into drug delivery are still small compared to novel drugs. 10 M&A deals were done during the last 5 years for drug delivery companies as compared to 14 for novel drugs. Not only, there's not a lot to talk about in 2020 to date, though 2019 was a record year for drug delivery, both from a transaction value perspective and the total number of deals done. A few more details include the fact that mean total deal value for drug delivery companies was about 179 million, with an average of 60% upfront, while novel drug companies' mean total deal value was 875 million, with a mean of 81% upfront. Please note, those numbers are based on a limited amount of publicly available information and is highly influenced by gene therapy deals. Year to date, index stock price performance for drug delivery companies are doing better than novel drug companies, with a 45% increase over the course of 12 months versus 6% with novel drug companies. This is taking into consideration, again, only a limited number of pure play delivery companies, and thus may be skewed, but may also reflect a more conservative trend to lower risk associated with novel drug path to the market. So what are the challenges for drug delivery companies? There's a few facts we must recognize. First, small cap companies are under pressure to expedite arrival to the market in all therapeutic areas. This short to launch concept has also been effective for investors. As a result, there is a rationale to start as a spec pharma or a reformulation company, despite relatively low valuation as compared to novel drug companies. These are the trucks. Investors also show a strong preference for event-driven investments in new technologies and hot therapeutic areas like gene therapy. So the path for a first product often goes through reformulation. But what's next? How to transform the truck into a Porsche, creation of value and not just reformulation. How do those portfolio selection highlight the drug delivery and not the API? How do we maximize the platform nature of the technology? There's a few ways to do that. One option is going at a second step after different fields outside ophthalmology, either with a known API, so another reformulation, or repurposing from a different medical field. This way, you are still positioned as a truck regardless. Another option is to focus solely on ophthalmology, where a next phase would be repurposing and not reformulating a known API outside ophthalmology. That would offer a lower risk path, a systemic safety is usually substantiated, a final path towards innovative status is going after a novel API. This is a high risk, high reward route, positioning the company as an innovative biotech company, or in other words, turning the truck into the Porsche. We have seen this trend with companies like Kodiak and Graybug. So the big $1 million question is, what will you be? How will you grow up? As a truck or as a Porsche? And both options are valid ways of growing up. Some questions to think about during the presentations that we will hear today will be, what are the main challenges regarding portfolio selection and how company positions is influenced by them? How do those companies approach that? And in portfolio selection, how do you maintain a drug delivery company profile without having API steal the limelight? I want to thank Piper Sandler for their work on the financial analysis, my fellow presenters and panel discussion partners, and last but most importantly, the OIS team for giving us the opportunity to discuss innovation at large and shining the light on drug delivery as the next big thing in ophthalmology.